Not just another Texas metal building, this 40 by 75 red iron weld-up in Medina, Texas comes with left and right lean-tos and a whole lot of curb appeal.
Curious about the cost? Stick around. We're breaking it down for you.
Welcome back, Pack. It's Anadela and Andy here one more time in Hill Country. Now we're in the city of Medina, Texas, going over yet another red iron building.
Another one. That's right. The Hill Country side of Texas amazes me. The hills, the landscape, and it's perfect for a red iron building if you ask me.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of red iron buildings here in the channel lately, a lot of big projects, and that's what we're going over in this video. We're breaking down yet another building and more costs for you guys. I'm thinking this one, we did the tour, just an outside tour. It'll be linked up above and down below for you guys. Really cool project. It is just the outside because we had some contractors doing work in there. Outsourced, the client did outsource that, but it looks super nice. I think just like the tie-in of like the outside and then the colors looks super nice. So make sure to click on the link below or up above. And let's get this one going.
Let's do it.
Andy, so talk to us a little bit about getting the project started. How was it for the client, reaching out to us?
Yeah, so as Adbo stated through the walkthrough, he found us on YouTube, loved our work on YouTube, and he ended up sending us an email.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's one of the biggest benefits about YouTube. I think you guys say it all the time. Hey, how did you find us? If you didn't find us on YouTube, check out our YouTube. A lot of you guys are clearly watching us now, right? But you get ideas. You get ideas also just on pricing, but what you can do. This project looks very similar to one that we had, and not Lufkin. Advil mentions Lufkin in the tour, but it's actually lulling. So things that are on there, you can get ideas, figure out what you like, what you don't like, and that kind of helps you. Even which to go with, because we offer two different product lines, and I think he switched, if I'm not mistaken, on that one.
So he switched. Originally, what our dentist was saying, what told us, he originally had a tubular, so he ended up switching into a red iron weld-up. I know he mentioned something about having like a man cave, hangout spot, so that's kind of where the red iron part of it came out through.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things here was he did work with that Henny's. I do want to mention that, so I do want to shout out our Janice and Seth, which are the alpha wolves on there. I'm sorry, Andy. No. But of course, if you're watching and you want to work with Andy, Andy, you've been in a couple videos now. You guys get a little bit more feel of him. But if you want to work with Andy and your packmate Charlene, your information will be up there. You guys are the Shadow Wolves, so great on there. But the client is using the building, as you mentioned, storage, man cave. That's a pretty rad man cave. And then Ed was just mentioning to us it's in a great area, so very, very cool. But moving on to what kind of people are looking for, Andy, what was the total cost?
The total cost was $220,552.48.
Very big man cave.
Very big man cave.
So this building included, the building itself was a 40 by 75 by 14 red iron metal building. It does have a front gable extension, which is 40 wide, so the width of the building, 15 long, 14 tall. It does have two lean-tos. It has two 12 wide by 75 left and right lean-tos. Has the full concrete foundation. It has the gutters and downspouts, multiple accessories, which we will be going over. So lots of doors, lots of windows, combination of different accessories that make, honestly, the building look really great. All the materials, labor, equipment, tax, delivery, every single thing included on there. Again, guys, pricing is valid for 5 days, and then pricing can change according to what you like. I would like to emphasize this one very, very big. You mentioned Henny's worked with him to get him different pricing, but you guys can also work with a client to say like, hey, maybe a client doesn't need $220,000 worth of the stuff.
We can remove the overhead doors. They can switch them into roll-up doors, remove some windows and things like smaller accessories. That's why we always like to ask our customers, what is a good budget? What's a budget that you're trying to fit? That way we can start shaving some stuff down. Yeah,
and then also, like, what are you using the building for, right? Because maybe you would have told the client, hey, maybe at Henny's for what this client is doing, he's doing things in there, so it's a red iron was a better fit. But if you're kind of just have it there and you have a great area that you want to put it in a tubular building, it's a great building that can go on there. So going back to this building, I do want to go over a little bit of the red iron, this red iron monster, I would definitely call it. What are the dimensions that we have here?
Of course, so the dimensions are a 40 by 90, 14 feet tall at the eaves with a 412 roof pitch. And then the enclosed part, since it did have a roof extension, the enclosed part was a 40 by 75, 14 feet tall. Now the client, like I mentioned, he mentioned that he wanted a little bit of a roof just to kind of hang out under there. So we made it 15 feet long. So that's the whole point of that.
75, 90, yeah. So 75 enclosed, 15 open, making it 90. Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So, and honestly, those are great because you don't necessarily add on to the main building.
Yeah.
You can have them exposed, especially if you don't really need it to be enclosed. It's like a great porch area, have furniture, especially, I don't know what he's doing with his man cave. Hopefully we can go back eventually. But great things on there. Andy, I do want to point out that the standard roof pitch and all of our products, red iron and tubular, is 312. This client did get the 412, as you just mentioned. That is an additional cost, so that did add on to the cost. Again, things that a client watching, maybe you don't need that 412, save yourself that additional cost. But there's also equipment and labor and things like that that are kind of added into those prices on there. But hopefully we're popping up some 412 because 412, 512, even 612 looks really, really nice. Yeah.
Gives it that aesthetic look.
Really residential with the new homes that have more of the higher pitches on there.
So the customer, since he did get a red iron building, it does come with 26 PBR gauge panels. That's the standard. For the red iron. He did end up getting the gable roof.
Yeah.
I know he ended up with the colors. It was ash gray walls, and he did get that wainscot, two-tone wainscot, which was an extra charge for that.
Correct.
He did get it in black. I don't know about this color combination. What do you think? Like, I'm liking it, but I don't know. You know.
I think when you look at it, it kind of looks like the black and white. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was black and white. I did have to look over the contract whenever we were doing things on the marketing side, and I was like, oh, okay, it's a little different, but it is really, really nice. I would like to point out, shout out, we talked about it in the last video we were actually in together, which was that Gravaloom is only offered in a specific product line. We did make new adjustments, and I want to shout out to actually mainly a lot of your clients. So I don't know what it is with you and Gravaloom, but we did have a lot of your clients and also other salesmen that were like, hey, Gravaloom is very popular. People want it either just on the roof or even like a full color on those kind of things. So that was something that we decided, okay, hey, this is very popular. We need to figure out how to bring it back and how to adjust to it from manufacturing all the way to the sourcing and everything like that. So we now do offer Gravaloom. You do see it in the color samples that you guys send out, and then also in the color charts. So I will say, I think some of the Gravaloom with the brown, which is the one that we did, or Gravaloom with white, Gravaloom with just any different color, it's very, very nice.
Makes it pop out. Yes. Very nice. Choosing the colors for your metal building, it could cause some problems, or it could be you can get a little lost. I know depending on permitting and HOA, some of them like to do match the house.
The house, yeah.
So we get customers like, hey, I'm trying to match this house. So we love to send color samples whenever. So if you guys need any color samples, be more than welcome to tell your salesman, hey, I need a sample color. We can send a couple of them out there. That way you can take them a look, go outside, shine them into the light to see how it hits when the sun hits it. They can change the color.
Yeah, because you look at this building every day. You're gonna look at this building every day. We're gonna see it when we go out there for YouTube, or we're gonna see it in pictures, but then we're done, right? Other than that, you'll see it in the morning, you'll see it in the afternoon. Do you like how it looks? Do you like how colors look under specific lights? Very, very important. This one, I think the lean-to, so obviously it has this main building, and then it has two lean-tos.
Exactly.
The lean-tos, the color scheme is the same. Yeah, so can we talk a little bit about those lean-tos? Because they were a little, not different, but he's got two of them.
No, of course. Yeah, so the lean-tos, they're both 12 wide, 50 long. Now the high side would be 14 feet tall, the low side would be 12.
Yeah, so it kind of had, it's kind of very similar to continuous, it just has that slight break, and I think that's why Advil talks about it on there, but I think one big one is all of the trim work, the gutters and things like that is black, so he also went with upgraded to the additional cost that comes with the painted frame, but both the lean-tos that you just mentioned and his extended gable have that painted frame. Really makes it look put together, and there's also slight benefits to the painted frame, which can help protect against the rust, things like that, especially with crazy weather in Texas where it rains out of nowhere. So Andy, so for everything that we've mentioned, which is again, everything from the building, lean-to, front extended gable, what is the cost for that?
So the cost came out to $117,510.48, which included a 40'x75, 14 feet tall red iron building with the 412 roof pitch, and then as well as the 40'x15 front gable, and then the two 12'x50 left and right lean-tos with the two-tone vertical colors, all material, the painted frames, delivery, equipment and labor, and the taxes.
So pretty much everything that the clients see on there for the building.
Exactly.
We are going to go into what is like doors, windows, all those additional things that you can add on there. But again, this is what this building costs. Any client can get ideas from here and then curate their own. Which leads us into the next one, Andy, doors and windows. I think
Yes.
this is what makes the building yours, makes it stand out, makes it a little different.
Of course. So he did get 2 steel doors, the ones that we both offer, the 36 by 84 and the 48 by 84.
Yeah.
He did get 15 insulated windows.
That is a big
He
one,
wanted
all
to
over.
He wanted to make sure he had some sunlight in there. He did get 13 of 3 by 3s, one 3 foot wide, 4 foot tall, and the last one was a 3 foot wide by 5. He also did get the insulated doors. 2 in the front, he did get 2 10 by 10 insulated doors with a high track in the color white. And then he did get them insulated with the R value of 6.8. I know Arjunis, when he mentioned about having it kind of like a hangout spot, he did mention about, you know, having it, since he was going to get it insulated. He did mention about those insulated doors. They do make a difference as well. So he also added a 14 by 14 in the back. Same R value, 6.8 R value with the openers for all 3 doors.
Yeah, so I think this one is very, very important. Again, we didn't, in the tour, you see that we did not go in there. He did outsource his spray foam. We did not do his spray foam, and that's what was going on whenever that was happening. Very, very important to know. Again, you guys ask, what is it that the building's being used for? He did get the foam gap enclosures with us because he did tell us he was going to be getting those, so we can prevent any type of oozing or things like that. Insulated building, really important to consider your insulated accessories. We do have a video on this where we go over this one. I think overall the building was tied really well together. I'm actually really excited to see. Hopefully we can see the client when we ask them. Our client success team likes to follow up. How's everything going with your building? How's it? So I'm hoping that we get some pictures that we can post on our social media for this to see how everything comes together. Overhead doors, the windows, spray foam, tying everything on the building on there. Benefits of having those overhead doors with the opener is that it does have an app, as you mentioned, a lot easier to get in and out of there.
Wi-Fi compatible.
Correct, yeah, so big things on there. But going back to the pricing for those gutters, all those 15 windows, the doors, everything like that, what did that come out to the client?
So the total cost came out to $35,575 for the accessories.
All right, Andy, arguably the most important part of a building is always making sure you start with a solid foundation.
Exactly.
In this one, we're talking about, we did the full building foundation for the building, lean-tos, extended gable, pretty much everything on there. What was the cost for that?
So he did end up getting a 6-inch slab for the main building and the 2 lean-tos, which came out to $67,467. That included the 40 by 3, 90 by 3, main slab building, 12 by 90 left and right lean-to, 12 by 12 perimeter footings on each lean-to, and then 12 by 18 for the main slab. With internal crossing beams, vapor barrier, and we can't forget the main part of it, the notch details on those doors.
Yeah, so very, very big. I think our concrete is something that there's a lot of standards that we have with our concrete. Very important to us. We've always mentioned we need to make sure that your building is built, your concrete is built for your building. We actually have a metal talks coming out at the first Saturday of this next month, which is in June, and we talk about that, whether leaking or water seepage is a concrete issue or a building issue. And I think this one's very big because we like to make sure that we build according to what we're doing. I mean, that we pour the concrete according to what the building is being built. This one does have a lot of upgrades. 6 inches. That's one big one. And if you think about it, that's 5,000 square feet worth of a building worth of concrete. So a lot of concrete on there. Lots of details on all of those doors, and then also on the lean-tos. The building always sits a little bit higher than what the lean-tos do. So lots of notch edge work that's done on there. But turnkey cost, one more time for all the clients that were watching from the beginning.
Turnkey cost for the building and the slab came out to $220,552.48, which included the concrete, the gutters and downspouts, all the doors and windows,
all of his 15 windows,
tags, everything that we mentioned came out to that price.
Again, price is valid for 5 days. We would like to point out these videos are very, very much to give you guys ideas of you're sitting down trying to see what is it that I'm looking to do, what type of building do I need, what do I need, right? Because maybe you don't need this type of building like this, or maybe you do. You're like, hey, honestly, this is exactly what I need. Quote me this exact same building. There is a code to all of our videos. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed that there's a code to all of our videos that we put in the description. Hey, can I get a price for YouTube code blank? That way you guys can't, yeah, because sometimes it's like, hey, that green building on YouTube.
Like, trying to go back and forth.
The black and white building on
Exactly.
YouTube. So very, very big one on there. But again, Andy, if this client would have maybe gone with the tubular side on this, just to give viewers another option, what would we be looking at for red iron?
So for just
for tubular, I apologize.
No, you're good. For just tubular itself was $192,217 for, that included, again, what we talked about, labor, material, concrete cost, and as well as the equipment.
Yeah, so there's definitely a big difference on there. I think it's very important to know there's a lot of things on tubular. Tubular can be very cost effective if you know what affects pricing. We have a video on this, on what are the biggest pricing factors. Again, if you go over that 30, you're going into that, I don't know if it's forbidden, but it's like that extra cost of the commercial trussing.
Commercial trussing, wide span, you start stepping into like the commercial side of it, where it does get a lot heavier for installers to lift up. That way, that's how you're seeing those equipment. And
yeah,
things like
you're
that.
right. So lots of things on there, and then the biggest one is like the biggest price difference is between the buildings themselves and the material itself, not necessarily the accessories.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes where clients get confused, where they're like, well, tubular is supposed to be more cheaper or typically considered to be more cost effective. But tubular can be more cost effective, but then you added the same type of doors that cost the same. You added the same concrete that costs remotely the same. If it, maybe there's price difference in how you're setting your plates or things of that sort, but everything else is the same. You're just kind of getting, so that's where the slight difference is, but not too much on there. To wrap up this one, guys, this was a huge monster, 5,000 square feet worth of a building. It is a 40 by 75 or 40 by 90 if you're included everything on there. It is a weld-up in Medina, Texas. Definitely a showstopper. It is really, really nice. I think the lean-tos, that extended gable can kind of look like a wraparound porch. I mentioned that to you on there. Shout out to the crews that build it on there, and then shout out to our Genis. I'm so sorry.
Unfortunately.
Shout out to our Genis who was the team that knocked it out of the park and brought it home for this one.
No, definitely, yeah. If you guys like a building like this or want something like this, definitely feel free to reach out to us. Of course, I gotta say it, I gotta mention it to him, but shout out to him. You can ask for him as well for the Alpha Wolves. Or if you guys want to mention me, Shadow Wolves to work with me and Charlene, we could definitely help you guys out and walk you through the process.
Yep. Your information should be on the board, guys. On the screen, guys. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay alert to everything that we have going on. Lots of new projects. Definitely educational videos on ways for you guys to save or things to look out for if you're shopping around. And we will see you guys in the next video.
What's up, Pack? Remember to stay up to date with everything that we're up to by checking out our social media. You can find us at WolfSteel Buildings for behind the scenes action. We share our latest projects, update on what the team is working on, and all the exciting progress happening in real time. Don't miss out on the action, and remember to give us a follow.